So listen, man. First things first. Without a whole enormous amount of detail, like media is my life, man. Like I love this. I love being able to connect. More so with people like you because it's cool just to see like kind of the beginning, like when it starts out, and you know I don't think that the hustle and the grind ever really changes, but you just see like how hard people are really working to get themselves out there. And I see what you're doing, man. You working really, really hard. I think you got an amazing team of people behind you. Obviously, you're being pushed very well, I'll say, by Raheem DeVaughn. But I just think it's an amazing marriage of sorts. Like you guys work really, really good together. That Mr. Midnight remix, like I remember when he dropped the original, and I was like, damn, like
Yeah, this is dope record.
I've been going to see him in shows and whatnot probably since '07, '06, somewhere around there, and it's just like every time he drops something, it's like, damn, like this shit really bang. So that was always a good track for me, and then to hear you on there, like it just sounds really, really good. Actually, I was listening to that as I saw you there, man. So like I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate this opportunity just to connect and be able to catch you. I guess before you get to like the Beyonce status and stuff like that, where then can't nobody
From
get
your
to you.
lips to God's ears, man. But no, man, I really appreciate you having me, man. I thank you for covering my music and sharing with your listeners, viewers, rather.
Yeah. So kind of talk. I guess first of all, how did the two of you come together to actually do the remix of Mr. Midnight?
The remix came from after, of course, after some time from working together, which really the origin of that story, that's all Wes Felton. Half of the Crossroads, he introduced us through, basically he needed a sub. So it was kind of fortuitous and serendipitous, all of that. And so we worked together and blah, 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 years pass. And Raheem drops What a Time to Be in Love with Mr. Midnight on it with phenomenal production group, The Colleagues. Shout out to them.
Right.
And some time passing, he says, yo, I need a remix. He says, I need something that's more sensual and more intimate. Think as if it's just me and you on the stage, you on the piano, and me on the microphone performing for people. And so that's how we got what we got. I guess, as the kids say, I understood the assignment.
Right. And I think it's cool more so just because it's not like your typical remix, like where it sounds the same and
Right.
all. Like you guys totally revamped it, and it sounds almost like a completely different
See, I'm
record.
an '80s baby, man. I come up through '90s R&B and hip hop, where a remix was a different
Same
song.
here.
It wasn't just you grab the vocals and put different
Right.
music to it. So yeah, man, I guess you could call me
Right.
a throwback.
So talk a little bit about. I mean, I know obviously music is really in your background and in the backdrop, and from singing as a child and your parents realizing the gift that you really had, and just the different things that you were doing growing up. But what made you really want to pursue this? Like, I'm sure that you've seen kind of the ins and outs of the industry, and what happens and how hard it is for artists like yourself to not just make a name for yourself, but to really be out there in the forefront, or at least to the level where you want to. It's hard to get that recognition when you are on a certain level.
What's funny, man? To answer the basis of your question, man, I've always been motivated. I'm a hustler at my core, man. I've always wanted to A, provide for myself and others, and B, be self reliant. Um, some people have what they call alpha energy. I'm a boss, man. I've never really if I work for someone else, it has to be another boss. So me getting into the music business was, I found that I had a gift and a talent that allowed me and afforded me the freedoms and lifestyle of the streets without the violence, the risk, and all that drama.
Right.
To be
Right.
honest with you, some
Right.
people have these wonderful stories. Oh man, I fell in love with the music, blah blah blah. Man, if I'm being transparent with you, it was a gift because to this day, I couldn't tell you how I can do what I do. So a gift is something someone gives to you. It in of itself, you had nothing to do with it. If I give you $1 million, what did you have to do with that $1 million? Nothing. I gave it to you. So my abilities I look at as a gift. So with this gift, I was introduced to a line of work, finger quotes, that afforded me that lifestyle, and I could keep hustling. And so now you spoke on the recognition. That's kind of touchy. That's important if that's your aim or if that's your intent or recognition. And it also gets a little murky
Right.
because, okay, after you get the recognition, that's why I like the word intent. After you get the recognition, now what? Because, we make a lot of
Right. Right.
stupid people famous. That's recognition. Famous simply means a lot of people
Yeah.
know you.
Yeah.
But now that you have the fame, what are you doing with it? So as for me, I've never
What are you
been
gonna
one
do
who
with it?
did anything for recognition because, respectfully, I was recognized before. It's like, you know what I mean?
For sure.
The only reason people could even spot my gifts in one area was because they praised me for another area. So, yeah, man, for me, if I can turn a buck off of it safely without hurting anyone and share my gift and do something I love and not get shot at
Right.
and not get, you know what I'm saying? It was a
Right.
no-brainer for me, bro. It was a no-brainer for me.
Now, I think this is really dope, man. It's cool to do this podcast and to be able to connect with somebody like you. Like I had all these ideas of what I wanted to do with the podcast and who I wanted to have on here, and I really was looking for a way to kind of celebrate those people or those figures, whether it be artists or entrepreneurs or whoever it is that I feel obviously give something, to this industry or give something to their craft, but also people that have in so many ways like inspired me. And believe it or not, man, like even I'll say a newcomer, even though you've been doing this for some time, like in so many ways, like just looking at what you're doing and how you're pushing and how you're striving and how you are following like your dreams, and like that's inspiring, man. Like it inspires a lot of people like myself. I kind of work with a lot of the same sense that you do, just as far as hustling and grinding,
Yeah,
and like I'm constantly working, man. Like I feel like I've done a whole day's worth of work already, and it's 1 o'clock in the
bro.
morning.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
about
like I'm
1:15.
constantly moving,
I need a
constantly
Red
moving.
Bull right after this interview. I'm gonna give me a Red Bull.
I need a 5 hour
Yeah,
energy,
man.
man.
This is my third interview of the day.
um, yeah. I appreciate you also, taking the time just because we were supposed to
Yeah,
connect
no
yesterday.
worries.
Um,
Technology,
and
whatever.
with all the stuff I have going on, for whatever reason, I kept thinking today. So I just happened to look at my email and he sent me a message like he on the phone, man. I'm like, oh
Bro,
shit.
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
But yeah,
Even though I wanted to do the interview once that slot opened up, I was like, and then got right back to it. So I was glad we were able to reschedule it for today, man. No worries.
yeah. So real quick, the spelling of your name, obviously BEEBOY dollar
There's some
sign
dollars on me, dollar sign.
OUL. But then your
Uh huh.
website, oh for sure. But then your website is different.
It's only because you can't put a dollar sign in a URL. That's it. And
Okay.
you can't
And,
put a
and
dollar
and I thought it
sign.
was something that simple, but I
Yeah, you can't put a dollar sign on social media handles and things of that nature. So on social media and the internet, the dollar sign is represented by S. But on DSPs, all publications, and all of my releases and all things of that nature, it's BEEBOY dollar sign OUL. Yes, sir.
right. Okay. So
Yes,
Sugar
sir.
Love, you got the Hamiltons on there. I've been following the Hamiltons. Honestly, I actually had them on one of my shows maybe about 3 years ago. I think that they're an amazing clique of guys, man. I look for them to do a lot of stuff, or I look to hear new stuff from them. So it was really cool to hear you obviously
Those are
connecting
my
with them now.
guys.
Like, how did that come about?
Those are my guys.
Like, how did the connection come together, or how did you guys end up working together on Sugar Love?
Just like most of the artists on this project, man, I have either and or a working and or personal relationship with the and it comes from my time as a professional musician, in that rut hustling. And like I tell my young ones, shout out to my young boy Dom from Denver, Colorado. I tell him all the time, the show is just 45 minutes, man. It's short. It's short. The hang, you got to go out to eat. You got to, all these different things. And so I took that. I used to pride myself on, meeting people. And I used to, not proud of myself, but I used to enjoy that portion of it. And so I would meet these artists and we would hang out and just keep in touch. So I had this record that I had written and produced, and later on made the acquaintance of the Hamiltons and became cool, and like a light bulb went off. Just almost that simple. It was like, yo, they need to be on this record. So I called them up and
Right.
boom. Just that simple, man. And I'm glad that it went that way. I told them do what they do. They did what they did, and man, this record is it's probably my favorite of the entire project.
Now it's the album Back to Love. It's dropping this weekend, right?
The entire album drops Friday the 21st. Well, midnight.
Right. How's it feel to be at that place now where it's there, like it's getting ready to drop?
It's a mixed bag, man. To be honest with you, it's a mixed bag of emotions. Because of course there's the anticipation, but then there's a sense of gratification of completion, and then there's this thing that some people call it Hill and Valley syndrome. A lot of great men have experienced it. And shout out to therapy, black men. Let's go get some therapy. My therapist and I, we talked about it. Like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, great men used to have gone through this, where you spend your time focused on achieving this great goal or this audacious task, going up the mountain. And then once you're there, well, what's left? Going down the mountain. So,
Right.
yeah, it's all those things mixed into one. And so, but above all, man, I'm truly, truly grateful that I'm receiving, like as you mentioned, the support that I'm receiving from, like I said, Raheem DeVaughn as executive producer, and his imprint and my imprint, his imprint, New Era Soul Records, partnering with mine, Mr. Boss Up Music and Media Group to print this and put this out, and SRG for being the exclusive digital distributor. Everything that comes with that, man, the publicity, just all of the industry care and support. I'm truly grateful. So above all, I'm just grateful for what's about to happen.
Right. I think it's definitely, a pat on the back to you. I just kind of look at it, and I'll say a marriage again, but I kind of look at the marriage of like you with Raheem DeVaughn, obviously with SRG, and the number of people that you're working with within that camp. Like, I don't feel like I've seen like this type of unity like amongst the recording label in years. Like, whether it be you or whether it be Vivian Green, or whether all of the people that they're releasing on this label, it's like everybody like works together. Like, it kind of reminds me almost of like Hidden Beach, like when Jill Scott came out, and then you had Mike Phillips, and you had
except that it's more traditionally R&B. Hidden Beach had a neo soul, which in my opinion introduced a little more hip hop. But man, yeah, you're right. It does give you that vibe, but on steroids. The roster of SRG is just it's unbelievable. When I first started doing talks with them, I did my due diligence, did some research, and just it made the honor even that much more great. It's like, wow, I'm affiliated with, being supported by this great company who is affiliated with these great artists and musicians. It made me realize that when you enter in the music industry as an artist, you become the face of an effort. What that means is like it's not
Right.
just you anymore. You don't have the luxury of being singularly minded when it comes to your decisions about your art. Yes, it's your art and you created it, but once someone is willing to put their money, their name, their connections, their human resources, all of those when they're willing to put that behind you, you got to consider that when you're making decisions. So your 32 track album, if they're telling you or advising you to trim it down to 10 or 9, you might have to consider that because now you're the face of this
Right.
entire
Right.
effort. So, man, I'm so grateful for the effort that's behind me. And I can only hope and pray that the people that hear it are pleased and keep supporting us so we can do out some.
Yeah. I just think it's a really good look. Like for years and years, like growing up and like through high school and like early college days, like I wanted to be an A&R. So it's like you really you don't see that
Yeah.
anymore. Like the artist development side of it and like the A&R rep, like you don't see that with a lot of labels anymore. So you guys and like what you have and everything that you're doing kind of brings back that feel.
Yes.
Um, and I feel like they're truly pushing you, man. Like I think it's gonna be really good. And then you got a lot of good names on this album too. So I mean, you figure Eric Roberson, you got Dwelle, like so many different people that I listen to. So like I'm looking forward to that. But then you have a whole package of your own that you're delivering and like thoroughly delivering. So I think it's definitely going to be good. Like I'm looking forward to downloading this album, this weekend. Like I think it's really
Man, I
dope.
appreciate it, man. I can't, like I said, man, I can't wait. I'm always curious to other people's response. Again, like I said, I don't really do it respectfully. I don't really do it for the fandom or the recognition. So that's why it makes the recognition all that much more special to me because of all the music out
Yeah.
in the world right now, and you choose to listen to mine and you like it. That's just amazing. Mathematically speaking, that's a miracle. So I recognize miracles when I see them.
Oh yeah. It's funny. I haven't done an album review. It's probably been like 10 years, man, since I've actually sat down and like wrote out a review.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna do something for this album because I'm really looking forward to it. I like what I've heard so far, and I think it's definitely gonna be something to be reveled. Like what are your goals for this album? Like where do you feel like you want this to take you, like in your journey?
Um, for the album specifically, my goals, which is why I did it this way. It's billed as my debut major release. The first time I'm working with a major company, SRG Universal. Um, I want to get it to as many people as possible and let those chips fall where they may. Um, I'm confident in myself as a person and individual, and I'm confident in the creator's gift that I carry. But I'm not arrogant or naive enough to believe that everybody gonna like this. But that
Right.
said, I just want to, again, I love math, so get it to the largest amount of people that you can, and let the chips fall where they may. Um, that's
Right.
the way I'm looking at it. I believe in the project. I believe in the energy and the place that it was created from. I absolutely love every single musician and artist that I worked with on it. And so, yeah, that's my major goal. And so reaching that goal, that's why I'm doing things like this, talking to people like you, so you can share it with your viewers. And I ask people that when they do hear it, if you like it, thank you, but tell somebody else, tell your friends, tell your family, so you can help me achieve my goal of getting this project into um, the most amount of earbuds possible.
When you speak of getting it to as many people as you can, and then you consider obviously the current time. So this
Right.
pandemic numbers started, obviously going down. So we were able to kind of get out, do shows and whatnot again. But now the numbers are creeping back up, so they're kind of taking a lot of that and pulling a
Right.
lot of that back. Like, how do you feel like that will affect kind of the overall
Well,
goals?
if you watch the numbers, again, I'll go with that math. If you watch the numbers, they're trending up in terms of our industry, particularly the digital industry. Um, now, in terms of market shares, I'll say, but in terms of dispersion, maybe not so much. But if you watch those numbers, they're trending up. So I think I got a good shot. Well, that's why I partnered with SRG to distribute this, because they have, frankly, more power than I do to get it
Yeah.
to the most people. So yeah, man, I'm optimistic. I say that's the word I was looking for. I'm optimistic.
I, th- I think you definitely should be.
Thank you, man.
I think that's, obviously this pandemic and the stuff that's been going on, I think it's killed a lot of people or a lot of artists just in terms of kind of, what they were able to do. But then I think it also depends on the
There you
artist too.
go. There you go.
I think in a lot, because in a lot of ways, like, I think for the people who were like, really successful throughout this, the pandemic was something that pushed them to be
Yeah, bro.
creative and think of
You
other
know what?
ways. And
I'm grateful.
I mean, because when you look at a lot of the other artists out there, I mean, hell, you could take it back to the Erica Badu's. Like, who the fuck would do a concert in their front yard in some bubbles? And I mean, but it's some shit that worked.
Bro, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that it
And
happened, because
yeah,
it kind of showed who was who. Mike Phillips, at the very beginning, I'll never forget this. At the very beginning of the pandemic, he says to me, "Now we're gonna see who the alley cats are." And I said, "Huh?" He said,
yeah,
"Man, you know what? You can take an alley cat off the street, bring him in the house. He gonna be grateful. He gonna be living like a house cat. You lose your house and throw that alley cat back in the alley. He knows how to get some fish out of a trash can. He know how to survive till he get to the next house. You did. So boom,
right,
the house cat who ain't never been in the alley, when he lose his house, he's out there tripping, jumping at every sound. He's scared to death.
right,
Man, that's what COVID did. That's what the lockdowns
right.
did. It made people, bro. I learned so many skills that I can now apply to earning money. That I can now apply to,
Yeah,
that I can now monetize with regard to this industry. So yeah, bro. I don't know. Not nothing.
yeah. It's what I mean. I mean, it's helped me in a number of ways too. Just because with my platforms that I've created for the past 11 years, I've really been on that digital front and trying to do stuff like this. But I could never get artists to agree to like sitting down doing the Zoom or doing
Yeah,
shit like this. Whereas now it's like second
yeah. You
nature.
know what though?
People are looking to
And
do
I'm
this kind
big
of
on
stuff.
this, man. It's systems, man. It's the reason why certain people's enter certain worlds and win is because of their understanding of systems. And I have to say that it's nothing I've mastered, but it's what I'm learning now. So I'll take someone like you, just to open it up. Someone like you, for an example, you want to get into it, but you can't get artists to agree. Well, if you understand the system, go above the artist, go with someone who works with a lot of
Yeah,
artists. So now you have a pipeline.
right,
Now, mind you, that's
right.
a thought process that's very common in the streets, but we don't see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just goes to show you, man, that if you got a
No,
gift
nobody
of
applies it
talent,
to business though.
it's how you apply it. If that makes sense, man. I didn't mean to go on a tangent, but I hope that makes sense.
Right. That's it. That's
Oh
that.
shit, you froze up, Slim.
It's just like you said. Oh, that makes perfect sense, man. It's how
But
you
anyway,
apply it. I get it 100%. Um, so yeah, it's been helpful to me too. But so the album drops Friday. What else can you say about the album that that everybody really should hear? Everybody should be looking out for. Obviously it's 2 days away, so we'll have it in a couple days.
what should I tell you about the album? Go get that mother. No, I'm playing. I think this is like I said. I'm not looking. This album is not gonna make me, quote unquote, globally famous. I'm not gonna be rivaling Drake or
Right.
Kendrick, because it's not that kind of music. We don't live in the time where I don't make music for the masses. I make music for my
That's not
market.
the. I was gonna say that's
That's
not the
not the
goal.
goal. So what I would say is, if you love good music, if you love music with a message, if you love music that you can play in front of your grandma, and with your girl. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all can be having dinner or y'all can be doing the nasty. Either one. It's not either or. So I want people to know that this is this album. This is the album that you need to get for that. And yeah, man, I just no expectations, man. I'm just optimistic. I really hope that people get into it, run it up, get it in front of as many people as they like it. I just kind of believe more people gonna like it than don't.
I appreciate it, man. I think this was really dope. It's a great opportunity for me, to be able to connect with somebody like you that's following your passion. I'm out here pushing mine.
Got to.
I appreciate it.
And salute to you, bro. I wish
Definitely
you the
appreciate
best in everything you're doing.
I appreciate that, and most definitely same for you. Any kind of final comments, final thoughts? Social media website.
No, I just want to shout out real quick the BeeBoy Soul Corporation. Um, we support mental health, underprivileged and underserved youth. You can find all that information. You go to my IG. You can go to the links in the bio and find out more information about that there. But yeah, upcoming soon in May, every May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, we do an event featuring different artists and stuff like that. So yeah, just to keep that on your radar. Other than that, BOY $OUL and all your DSPs, and BOYSOUL on social media.
I'll be looking for all of that, man. Mental Health Month, May. Keep me posted on everything, man. I will run some stuff. I dealt with some stuff myself with that, so I definitely want to push it any way that I can.
Will do. I'm sure, like, yeah, I'm gonna keep in touch with you through Raphael because it's a lot. It's a lot I want to do this year. So yeah, man, we'll make that happen.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you again so much.
Salute. Have a good one, man.